Good morning, televiewers on My Media Prime Television. You're welcome to this other edition of The Brief, live on My Media Prime Television, a program where we get to review the major headlines as related by newspapers in the countries. On today's edition of the program, the newspapers are focusing on the efforts of Cameroonians looking for lasting solutions to the conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. And equally, President Paul Biya disbursing over 2.7 billion francs CFA to support striking teachers in the country. We shall tell you more on that, and equally some women or prominent faces that are making Cameroon proud. We shall be telling you about those prominent women in the country as related by newspapers today. Bomotonguina, Gwladys is here. Let's have what she gathered in the French language newspapers. Bonjour Gwladys.
Bonjour Lasha, bonjour à vous et merci de rester fidèle à My Media Prime Télévision, mais encore plus à Debrief, votre émission de revue de presse bilingue. Alors ce matin, nous débutons avec le journal Le Jour qui nous parle de Mbongo et de sa clique. 3 ans de détention provisoire. En effet, l'ancien ministre de la Défense et ses actes co-accusés sont détenus à la prison centrale de Yaoundé depuis mars 2019. C'est en tout cas ce que nous révèle le journal à la page 2 et 3. Championnat Elite One au Cameroun, 5 clubs seront relégués à la fin de la saison. Les détails sont donc en page 11 de ce journal. En page 13, le journal nous parle de la Cameroun Handball Academy, 5 nouveaux pôles de formation. En effet, nous avons donc le pôle de formation de Bafoussam, Bamenda, Boya, Bertois et Bolova. Après les tournois des centres de formation dans le littoral et l'extrême nord, avec l'apothéose qui se tiendra donc le 13 mars à Yaoundé. Nous continuons donc ce matin avec le journal Mutation qui lui fait un throwback sur la grève des enseignants avec un incident malheureux. Ils intitulent le titre « Un mort et des remords » pour parler ainsi d'un enseignant après 10 ans sans matricule ni salaire. Amidou, enseignant d'EPS intégré le 24 février 2022 sous la pression du mouvement OTS est finalement décédé hier. Un événement qui semble être très triste. Les détails sont donc en page 7 de ce journal. En page 6, le journal nous parle de l'Office du baccalauréat au Cameroun, enseignement du classement. Nous continuons toujours dans le journal Mutation qui nous parle en page 9 du phénomène du don de sang qui est donc en baisse au Cameroun. Ce matin, nous terminons avec le journal L'Œil du Sahel, lui qui nous parle de la crise anglophone au Cameroun en intitulant un grand titre « Enquête sur les attaques dans le Ndion ». Les détails sont donc en effet en page 3 de ce journal. Le journal aussi en page 2 table effectivement sur l'enseignant Amidou qui est décédé hier après son intégration du 24 février 2022. C'est ici, mesdames, messieurs, que nous nous arrêtons pour ces titres en langue française. Place à la découverte de ces titres en langue anglaise avec toi, Lasha. Good morning.
Thank you, Bomotonguina. Good morning once again. Thank you, televiewers on My Media Prime Television, for staying with us. Let's kickstart this morning with News Watcher newspaper, which is focusing on the opening session of March Parliament in Yaoundé. The paper writes that as Parliament opens, green battles to mark National Assembly Senate Bureau elections. We are told that Southwest in the eye of a storm over who replaces Lifaka as National Assembly Deputy Speaker. The paper goes ahead to tell us that the first ordinary session of Parliament for the 2022 legislative year opens in Yaoundé Friday, March 11, 2022, according to a bureau order signed by the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Right Honorable Kava Yege Jibril. The lower house of Parliament shall convene at 11 a.m. as tradition, and it is expected that the upper house House of Parliament, the Senate shall also convene later same day. The convening of the March session is in keeping with the legal provisions which require that each year Parliament holds 3 ordinary sessions, each lasting not more than 30 days in March, June, and November. Like every March session, the main agenda will be the election of the new Bureau of Parliaments or members of Parliament. More details on page 3 of this edition of the Set newspaper. Let's take you now to Ndian Division, where amber attacks in Ekondo Titi has gotten many Cameroonians worried. Chiefs elite condemn, say Indian Division for one indivisible Cameroon population, also urged to collaborate and provide intelligence for Amber hideout. More details on page 6 of this edition of Newswatch newspaper. And Newswatch is also bringing to us some faces or women that are making Cameroon proud, and 8 Anglophone female role models of March 8. More details on pages 6 through 7 of this edition of the Set newspaper, talking about the prominent faces that are making Cameroon proud. The director and or the director general, managing director of EcoBank is amongst the women, Gwendoline Abono, and equally Rebecca Enonchong, the tech entrepreneur, is equally amongst the 8 female role model as being profiled this morning by Newswatch newspaper. You can read more details about the profile of these 8 women or Anglophone women only in this edition of Newswatch newspaper. On to the Guardian Post newspaper. The Guardian Post, like Newswatch, is interested in what happened in Ndian Division of the Southwest region of Cameroon. Ndian chiefs elite condemn amber attacks in Ekondo Titi, and one division is not a place or harbor for war criminals. You can read more details about the condemnations of the chiefs as well as women coming from Ndian Division only in this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. And still in the Southwest region, suspected Ambazonia fighters have kidnapped 12 in Nguti. We are told by the paper that armed men believed to be Ambazonia fighters have adopted at least 12 persons in Nkongo Mbeng, that's a community in Nguti subdivision of Kupe Mwanenguba division of the Southwest region of the country. The victims are said to have been adopted last week. Some were reportedly forced out of the homes and whisked away, while others were taken or kidnapped on their way to their farms. More details in this edition of the Set newspaper. We end this morning with The Voice newspaper. The Voice this morning is focusing on what Barrister Clifford Niba Akonte has said. The government must revisit Article 64 of the Cameroon Constitution to resolve, or Federal Constitution to resolve the Anglophone crisis. Those were the words of Barrister Clifford Niba Akonte. We are told that the national president or chairman of the Movement for Democracy, Development and Transparency, Barrister Clifford Niba Akonte, has stated that Cameroon needs to revisit Article 64 of the Federal Constitution to clearly demonstrate her will to resolve the Anglophone crisis that has been raging for over 5 years now. And speaking in Boya while chairing a roundtable conference with stakeholders from different humanitarian organizations and some government representatives in Boya recently, Niba said their goal was to look at possible solutions to de-radicalize the youths who are at the peak of radicalization in the troubled regions. Article 64 of the Constitution states that no procedure for the amendment of the Constitution affecting the Republican form, unity and territorial integrity of the state and the democratic principles which govern the Republic shall be accepted. More details on page 3 of this edition of the Set newspaper. Thank you for watching, televiewers of My Media Prime Television. We are back in the studio to continue with our discussions this morning. And Nsungkikang is joining us. She's a journalist working for My Media Prime Television. It's always a pleasure having her. Good morning, Joy, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Lasha Kingsley. Good morning, Gwladys. Always a pleasure to be here on set with you.
We are beginning with this sad news as relayed by Mutation newspaper this morning, talking about a teacher, Amidu, who taught for 10 years without salaries. Just at the moment, he was integrated into the public service. we are reading that he died yesterday. What is sad news?
Really a very, very sad news, Lasha Kingsley, because this man, he was one of the people who went viral, one of the teachers who went viral during the Onato Sipote, when he was still at its early stages. One of the teachers who carried the placard that he's been teaching for 10 years without any salary, and he does not even have a matricle. Some days ago, I think he was the only person whose problem was solved directly. He was being given a matricle. We saw a release that equally went viral on social media where he had been given a matricle, and then a few days later he dies without even reaping from what he sowed, without even having enjoying the fruits of his labor. Imagine going through school, going through the stress of writing the competitive entrance examination into the professional, the teachers training college, and then when he leaves, he going through the stress, going without salary for 10 years. And even if I saw a picture where they put him side by side with when he was still in school, the year which he graduated 10 years ago, and now he was even looking better then than the way he was looking now. And it means that he was even suffering from a condition. He was sick and probably did not even have money to go to the hospital, talk less of his family, because I saw pictures of his wife who was equally in a very devastated situation. And this man, I really hope that the money that was supposed to be given to him, his 10 years arrears, will be given to his family. But that was the question. Would it be given to the family? Would
That's
the family?
That's a question. Why even allow somebody? Why even allow somebody to work for 10 years? 10 years
even
without...
10 years is even too much time. Why even let somebody work for 1 month without the person's salary? Because the person has worked for it and he deserves to get a payment. I said the other day that these teachers' problems don't even start from when they are teaching it. These teachers' problems start from right from the competitive entrance examination. Yes, I was discussing with Faith Tata the other day, and I raised this problem of launching a competitive entrance examination into a school. You need just 60 candidates for a particular department, but you have thousands of students who register, you know, for that same, to enter that, you know that you want just 60 people. And even still in that 60 people, more than half, more than 70% have already been booked. Yes, have already been taken before even that day of writing, before the results come out. And how do you expect these people to live, to survive after school without their salaries? 1 month, 2 months, it's already too much. And then they work, they don't have their advancements. It's always a tradition that you teach
for 2 or 3 years before, you know.
Before you even have your arrears.
The 2 or 3 years is the time that it takes government to process, not calculating, process your file. But we heard the Minister of Public Service and Administrative Reforms, Joseph Lee, saying that it is possible now to chase your file at the level of the regions. So what is happening that people say have to travel to
Yaoundé? Problem. Even at the level of the regions, there will always be some people who want to sit on the files. Even the documents that circulated 2 days ago with the Minister of, Mr. Delegate, Secretary General at the Presidency, who gave the orders, or the President gave orders to disburse 2.7 billion to pay these teachers for marking fees for baccalaureate examinations. I mean, even that document, there was a date on that document that indicated February 2021, which means that this document had been prepared. Yes, this document had been prepared over 1 year ago, but they had to take teachers to strike to pay their money. And this money, this 2.7 billion francs CFA, Lasha Kingsley, it is for the people who marked the examinations organized by the baccalaureate board. Yes, and it means that if one script of baccalaureate exams, for instance, costs maybe 150 francs, and the teacher marks a couple, maybe 100 or 200, how much is that money? Maybe let's say 20,000 francs. Do teachers really need to strike or to go on the streets and protest before they have to sign a document to pay somebody 20,000 francs? Is that, where are we going in this modern day and time? It is despicable. And
so now the teachers are striking, and President Pobia order payment for those who mark baccalaureate. And what about the people who have advancements, 3, 4 advancements? People who have been who left ENIES, people who left NSET, people who left ENS, and they have been teaching for 2, 3, 4 years without salaries.
That's the problem. Well, we hope that that's the first step, that has been taken. And if this document was signed in 2021, it means other documents have been signed, and it's lying on people's tables.
I posted something on Facebook, and the comments I've been reading, teachers are very, very bitter, and this is only targeting, you know, the francophones. Francophone teachers. We've not come to Anglophones
We've
because
not even,
it is something that cuts across all
even the
the
2.7 billion,
yes.
even the 2.7 billion, it was clearly stated that it is for Office du Bac, it is for baccalaureate board examination. It's not even for the GCE board. It means if they have to add Anglophone teachers on problems to it, we have
for the GCE board, they have been managing their exams
we have so a very long time.
The problem is with the teachers leaving. How do you expect the teachers to impact knowledge or teach these students with empty stomach? People who left school, and you know the condition under which they went to school. Most of them are from very humble background. They barely survive, you know.
And it is not even like schools, because we have a professional school in Cameroon where the students get 50,000 francs monthly for dressing allowance. I'm talking about INAM, for instance, where they have dressing allowance monthly. École normale, teachers training colleges, they don't have that. They have to constantly dress up, and teachers are one of the most decent people of our society, which means that they need resources to be able to meet up to a certain standard of living. They don't have to put them in a condition where it's going to make them uncomfortable, or it's going to make them want to start doing terrible things in society that will take them away from being that moral figures that these students need. They have to make them comfortable. And I don't know why the government will neglect teachers' demands, because we will not even have these top administrative authorities without teachers. They are like the base of the society. They are the ones who train these people to become doctors, to become engineers. They start from the basis, secondary school. Everybody passed through secondary school. And it is not fair to neglect this particular field, to neglect this particular career. That man who died, who died yesterday, is really unfortunate that he had to die without eating from his salary. We hope that they are going to give the money to his family. We really hope so.
The question that I want to ask is how manage that he has just been integrated, il a juste été intégré, et puis quelques jours après,
we cannot know who killed him. Maybe some people can say that maybe he's people who feel like he's going to collect much money from the government out of jealousy, and I don't really think people can be jealous of him. They have to rather be happy for him.
Was he sick already? And
exactly. Then like I said, if you see his picture 10 years ago when he just finished school and when he just started teaching, with the picture that circulated during this the teachers' strike, there are two different pictures. It's like he actually, while he was teaching, his condition got worse. His whole condition, he got pale. He's really looking sick and really looking like somebody who is going through a lot of pain and a lot of stress in life. He has to meet up with teaching. He has to take care of family. He has to take care of his own self.
And then he was working on his farm. That's what he was.
I mean, just imagine having to do all that.
On parle ici d'une réclamation de près de centaines de milliards. Et on voit un document qui circule, en fait, un document qui date de 2021, qui circule en 2022, parlant de 2 milliards de francs CFA. Quelle est la comparaison entre des centaines de milliards et 2 milliards de francs CFA, et entre les 3 000 milliards utilisés pour organiser la CAN au Cameroun?
That's the problem. Not even organizing the CAN. There's also the other day, vehicles were being distributed to some administrative authorities amidst an ongoing protest. It's just showing how government is neglecting a particular sector of the society, which is supposed to be one of the most prioritized. Exactly. We hope that it doesn't go that far. And teachers are really complaining following the death of these.
They are complaining. Go to social media.
This death, I think, it will go a long way to provoke the teachers. Yes,
there are some who are also 10 years older into the profession who have not received
any advancement.
They are there. So many of them.
Family allowances. So I feel like the government is placing very little importance on something that had to be paid the most important, something that had to have the highest priority in this country. But unfortunately, the society or the country in which we find ourselves, they always prioritize, I don't want to say the wrong things, but the things that are not very necessary at a particular time.
Tant de valeur aux administrateurs et moins de valeur aux enseignants?
That's the problem. We don't know. We really hope that the death of this teacher is going to teach probably the government a lesson, yes, so that they don't wait for the dying minute. That's what the Cameroon government always does.
The job that the territorial administration boss Paul Atanganji said when he was handing the vehicle that to ameliorate their working condition, one of those administrators recently ordered for the arrest of pupils when they were protesting. Is that the job? Is that the job?
Order for the arrest of pupils. Another one.
Students.
Another one.
Bonaberi, we're talking about the DO for Bonaberi, DO for Douala.
There's another administrative authority who equally on his own, decided to publish a list of teachers who had been absent from their duty post without even, in the midst of an Anglophone crisis, in a war zone, he published a list on his own without even consulting the Authority of Secondary Education Ministry, published a list of, and he was not, I don't know if it is that, like I said.
It was not only, he didn't only publish a list, he wrote to the Ministry of Finance, and the monies were slashed. They
removed
from
money,
teachers.
they cut money from their salaries.
So is that the job? Is that the job?
Cameroonians than teachers?
That's the issue. That's what I'm saying, that the government is placing it's misplaced priorities. We are neglecting something that is supposed to be the most prioritized. Teachers are supposed to be one of the most people that when they even stand up to say they have a problem, it is immediately they have to look into that problem. I was following an interview that the Minister of Basic Education granted when he visited a child who was being tortured by his teacher here in Douala, and he said that the Ministry of Basic Education is already putting things in place such that the strike does not affect his ministry, and because he knows that teachers, you don't play with teachers. You don't play with people who are handling the future of your country. You shouldn't play. Because the teachers stopped teaching today. The other day, Cameroonians were raising complaints of the students. Exactly, students who are out on the street. Imagine something happens to a child on the street. A child who is protesting for his teachers to come back to class because...
And instead of solving the problem,
you arrest
the
children who are suffering from what they are normally are not even supposed to suffer from, for what is normally supposed to just be solved. You know, you see students protesting. Students have been out of class. Students of examination classes, the GCE, the official examinations are just in a few months away, and you have students out of class when they are supposed to be learning. We already had enough time that was lost during the African Cup of Nations, and now they are having another classes. It is terrible. Please, the government should pay much attention. They should not let this line.
We hope Amidu has paid the price, and the government is going to learn from the demise of Amidu and many other teachers who are suffering as a result of negligence or slow pace at which government is acting towards resolving the problems of teachers in the country. Thank you so much, televiewers, for watching this edition of the program, which was produced for us by Chrisain Tebong. We were Bomotonguina, Gwladys, and myself, Lasha. Bye-bye.